Right now we've got two formidable teams getting ready to start this match. Kris Anderson is going to begin by serving. She's got a pretty extreme forehand grip here, a real semi-Western, verging on a full Western grip here. And Alex, is it fair to say that the team of Naumu and Anderson, a little bit sort of less conventional in terms of technique than we sometimes see from some of the senior pro women?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Kris Anderson, she's got a huge forehand, as we just saw right there. And she likes to tee off on it every opportunity she gets.
Including at near the bottom of the net in the last one.
Exactly.
I bet I still get it over.
And she does it with a lot of spin, and I think it's that grip that you were just referring to, Mark, that allows her to do that. That and her very strong tennis background.
Yeah, she really does have some of sort of the bigger, more loopier strokes that we'll see out there, especially on that forehand side when she's got time. You'll see that she really pulls the paddle back and sort of almost like a full circle, really, as she drives through.
And she truly favors her forehand. You'll see that her backhand is not nearly as strong. And she'll run around her backhand a fair amount to do what she can with a forehand.
All right, and Matthew Blom, we just saw right there, Bonnie Williams put away that high ball on her forehand. Tell us something about this pairing of Barksdale and Williams, what you're looking forward to see them do, what you think they're going to need to do if they're going to capture this gold medal.
Well, both former tennis players. Christine has been around this game for quite some time. She's definitely the most experienced pickleball player on the court in terms of number of years and through her work with the USAPA. And I haven't seen them play yet, but I like the pairing of the two because they both have just a real well-rounded full game. They'll know the smart strategies for dinking to set up a point, and they can both tee off on a ball, like we saw Bonnie just put away that high forehand as well.
Barksdale and Williams out to an early 5-0-1 lead here. One of the, we're talking about sort of differences in technique. One of the things that Christine Barksdale is well known for, and you'll see it as she gets closer to the kitchen line, is when that ball comes towards her shins, rather than stepping to her left and using her forehand, she'll just sort of put her paddle down straight in front. And in fact, even as that ball goes a little bit to her left side, assuming it's a little bit slower, rather than using the backhand, switching to the other side of the paddle, which most players would do, you'll see her actually just slide her forehand across the left side of her body and sort of flick it with a forehand. And it's can be a very deceptive shot and difficult to read.
It's almost like she's using a frying pan out there sometimes, the way she arranges herself to hit a forehand.
You know these players pretty well there, Alex. What do you see being the dynamics here in terms of what teams are looking for and what the strengths are on either side?
Well, the typical strategy with these gals would be to dink to Bonnie Williams. That is her least favorite shot on the pickleball court. And the same could be said for Kris Anderson. Whereas Lisa Naumu, she's really a pretty good dinker, but what she excels at is her blocking. You'll see her kind of just plant her feet and nothing gets by her. She doesn't back up, she doesn't move side to side, she just blocks everything back. And you know, Christine, she can get a little hot or a little cold on pretty much all aspects of the game. So when you see her kind of get, you know, on a cold streak on some area, you want to try to just stay on that, see if you can expose it further.
That ball is called just wide. You will notice that there are 6 line judges out here on the court. That's something we've seen for all the gold medal matches here in the pro and senior pro divisions. That way it takes some of the pressure off the players to have to make those line calls. They just play unless they are told otherwise. And alongside those line judges, we're going to see Marcia Frezzo holding court out there, making sure everything's running smoothly, and that's a pretty smooth point right there from Naumu and Anderson.
Kris Anderson getting to use that big forehand that she likes.
And There you go. Naumu able to find the hole right through the middle there. Often a good place to go, especially early in a match as teams are trying to make sure they're clear on exactly who's covering what territory in the center of the court.
Which, even though they've been playing all day and it's not their first tournament together, you could say, oh, they should have that figured out. But every time against new opponents, you got to see where are they hitting it and how are they using the middle.
There you go, Christine Barksdale, Bonnie Williams seem to be on the same wavelength there as Christine takes ball number 1, Bonnie takes 2, and together they let the third one go long. Kris Anderson now serving at 3-5-2 in this gold medal match.
There's that inside out forehand we were talking about, with the frying pan.
Gotta watch out. She likes to lob that. Oh, okay.
Case in point.
That's a very wise commentator back there with Mark, can predict what's going to come right before it happens.
You watch enough pickleball, eventually you start to see those patterns.
Yep.
And no, but in all honesty, because she does sort of grip the paddle in that way, because she does play it from such a low position below the ball, that she's well set up to play a lob, and Anderson and Naumu are going to have to be alert for those.
And lobbing over Lisa Naumu is a good strategy because, like I had said before, she really does kind of plant her feet and not move around a lot. And so she might read it a split second later or whatever. And so for her to get to the lob can be a struggle for her. And I think that could be a good strategy.
We did see earlier in the tournament when she was playing mixed doubles that there were a couple times where she was susceptible to that high ball. And right now, Williams and Barksdale, they're facing the sun a little bit here. You can see Barksdale, the cool-looking shades on out there.
There's a nice
Talk
lob.
About lobs. That ball does, however, just go out.
I think her technique was a little shaky on that. Looked like more of a wrist flick.
Yeah. A stab.
Instead of using your full arm, using your knees.
There you go. She used the appropriate parts of her body there. Gets that ball down into the dirt where it's out of harm's way. Meanwhile, you'll see in the back the woman in yellow there, one of the many volunteers here, hundreds of them over the course of the tournament, all really important. Many of them have traveled at their own expense to be here to help out, be part of the tournament, and the vast majority of them do not get recognized in sort of a very public way. But anyone who's playing in this tournament and anyone who's been here enjoying the Indian Wells Tennis Garden knows just how important those volunteers are.
You really can't run a pickleball tournament without a lot of volunteers. It really is awesome that people do that. As players, we all super appreciate it.
I can run one by my house. We've got one court. Don't need many volunteers for that.
But you need at least one, I would think. Yeah? Yeah, no?
You know what? When you're playing here at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, you got 50 courts, thousands of people coming through, more than 4,000 matches happening. I mean, we probably need volunteers just to handle all the pickleballs that they go through here in this event. It's really an important part as the sport continues to grow, and these volunteers, of course, they're treated a little bit to some terrific pickleball action as well.
There's that lob.
Kitchen violation called against Lisa Naumu.
Oh, she must have stepped on it as she
Let's
went back
watch
to
the
overhead.
replay. See, well, the replay started a little soon.
Often what you'll see is players will take a step forward into the kitchen in order to push off to move back. And if you don't get those 2 feet down, you're not actually reestablished. You're considered inside the kitchen, even if you're a good 15 or 20 feet back. And we saw Dave the Badger Weinbach earlier in the event called twice on that. It's funny because he hit his overhead smash from 3/4 court, and referee Nicole Hobson called him on those violations. Again, anytime you touch the line, the non-volley line or the non-volley zone, you must then get both feet down outside of it again in order to be considered reestablished.
Ooh. She went for big return, but mishit it slightly in the net.
And that actually, I believe, shows that the referee is really doing a good job paying attention to the player's feet and not watching the action.
Marcia Frezzo, one of the best. She and her husband, Byron, earlier this week given an award for service to the pickleball community. Daniel Moore was out there.
So we see Lisa Naumu take up some of her 10 seconds that she has available to her after the score is called.
She wishes she had an extra second there as that ball clips off the top of the net and takes a funny bounce. It's going to be a side out.
Goes through both of them for the side out.
If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to say hello. If you got a question for Matthew or for Alex, feel free.
Even for you, Mark.
If you got a criticism, send it my way. Love hearing those. And no criticism right now of the quality of play here in this gold medal match, women's senior pro.
Oh,
Ooh.
she almost got that.
That was a great setup. Bring Kris out wide, just open up the middle, and she put a little high. Bonnie can put that one away.
Christine Barksdale serving at 7-8-2. Kept that right inside the line.
With players of this caliber, it's so important that you hit just not a mediocre shot, but a high quality one. So that, whether that means being close to the line or close to the net, threading the needle between the opponents. You know that if you give them any room, they're going to make you pay. Right now, it's a nice lob by Naumu. Handled by Bonnie Williams. What was important about that, Matthew Blom, is not just that she got the ball back after being lobbed, but that she got it back out of harm's way.
It's the unique thing about returning lobs in this sport is that what's considered the best shot after a lob is that drop to get your team back in because you've been pushed off the line. And they did that brilliantly to get back in and take over and turn what's a defensive position back into a point-winning position.
That's right, and that's one of the hardest things. Something people can do at home if they want to practice chasing down lobs and playing a drop is you don't even really need a partner. You can stand at the non-volley zone facing the net, toss the ball high over your head backward toward the baseline, and as you turn and run, practice then sending that drop back low and near the kitchen. And this is a skill that's very tough. It takes a lot of feel and touch and sensitivity, not to mention agility, but it is something that people can practice. 7-8-2, Bonnie Williams serving.
Kris Barksdale going a little crazy on that, that high ball.
It's coming hard and she swung hard. Not seeing so many of the longer points that have been in some of the other matches on court. These are 4 women, I think, who like to, at least 3 of them like to really open it up just like Kris did so well there. I think that's accurate. These are more of an attacking style, at least for Kris and Bonnie.
You know, it is, it's been many, many years that the women tend to have much shorter rallies. Over the years, I've had a lot of people say they really prefer to watch the women's matches because there's not so much dinking involved. And I think some of that could just be a size thing that, you know, the men know if they get a ball too high. As we watch
great put away by Christine.
Too high or too deep, and the men have the longer reach, and of course the taller, imposing body up there. So they know they need to really pull the trigger on a shot that's a little better. Oh, that ball being called good.
Oh, really?
From our perspective, I thought it might have been a little long, but
well,
that's why we have lines people.
They're closer than we are.
Tough serve in the corner there.
Yeah.
All right, Barksdale and Williams trying to catch up here, serving 8-9-2.
Ooh, some extra backspin on that. Made her stretch and cause an error. Got a signal going here from Lisa.
Surprisingly, Kris Anderson actually does not play as well when she's moving forward. She likes to have the ball come to her. she takes it to Christine Barksdale there off the hip.
Yep.
See a lot of Facebook commentary a lot of times about people tagging other people, and what are your thoughts on tagging your opponent, Matthew?
Do it.
I love that. Oh, beautiful.
I think there's, if someone's intentionally trying to hit someone's head or something, that is a little bit of a moral line I would draw. But aside from that, it's a great shot that you're that close to your opponent, and knowing that into the body is the best place to go. Good recovery.
Bonnie Williams reaching that off the very tip of her paddle.
Oh, well put away. You're right, she just hung her ground there. Lisa, and when the ball came to her, she saw the opening.
What Naumu did really well there was she had a lot of cork to hit it to. She didn't go crazy and think, oh, I really got to put this thing away. She was just smart. She hit it, what, probably 3 feet in?
Yep.
Right? Gave herself plenty of room for error.
Yeah. What do you think about tagging?
Oh, I have no problem with it whatsoever. And like you, though, you know, don't go for somebody's face. I mean, you know, people do get obviously hit in the face or head on occasion. But you would hope that it's an error. It's not an intentional event. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of good places actually. That the right shoulder for a right-handed person is frequently a good place. You know, the right hip, obviously the feet. I mean, we hear all the time, hit to the feet. So if you can bounce it off their shoe, you know, you're still hitting them. Yeah. Intentionally trying to hit somebody to harm them, or you know, make them feel it. That's just kind of poor sportsmanship. But as far as
go take up boxing,
aiming properly as part of a strategy to win the point, I think that's fair game. You'll see the men actually go not too infrequently right at the opponent's chest.
Big area to hit. 10-9.
This could be game point if Naumu and Anderson win it.
Ooh.
Which they did not. The ball was called out.
Wow. Line judge hesitated on his call, but I think it was the right call.
As we watched the replay, well, it looked a little inconclusive, but live, it looked like it was out.
There we go, back to 10-all.
Right now we see Christine Barksdale serving from the left side of the court, 10-10-1. She's hitting that serve a little harder than I remember her hitting. Looking to get a weak ball that she or Bonnie can pounce on.
Ooh, they might have been saved there as well.
Oh, got to get that ball down.
Ooh, wow.
Lisa Naumu.
She's excited about that. Taking an overhead and driving into someone's feet. That's a tough shot. Well done. Well put away. Bonnie's still coming in. Lisa smartly puts it down her feet. Best place to hit that ball is someone's trying to work their way in.
She had a little bit of movement on the ball too, made it a little harder to track. Oh. All right, side out at 10-10.
Okay.
Oh, my bad. It's not side out, it's second server.
Okay.
Gosh.
Alex makes her first mistake
of the year,
all
really.
day.
And with that,
wait a minute.
I guess we were behind on the score.
Oh, okay.
12-10. Game number 1 goes to Naumu and Anderson.
Wow. I think the last point was worth 2.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, when you do it that well, you get 2 for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, make sure we got all the scoring set for game number 2. Mark Renison, Matthew Blum, Alex Hamner here, live at Nationals, gold medal, Women's Senior Pro. We're coming back soon. Stay close.
Match point, it's all up to me. Nothing can get in my way. And when they ask, what are you gonna do next? I'll say, I'm going.
We're going to Margaritaville!
go to Margaritaville too. Visit MargaritavilleResorts.com.
15 seconds. Line judges, are you ready?
All right, let's welcome these women back out onto the court for game 2 of this gold medal match.
Ball coming.
Woo! Game 2.
Back live at Nationals, Mark Renison alongside Alex Hamner and Matthew Blom. We're here in Indian Wells, California at the 2019 Margaritaville USA Pickleball National Championships. And we just saw Lisa Naumu and Kris Anderson, who just hit that nice forehand
Driving into Christine's body.
Yep. They took game number 1, 12-10. Anderson and Naumu are going to look to add to their lead, though they are on the sunnier side of the court, a little tougher to play over there. And you see both of them wearing their sunglasses, matching with Christine. Do you think Bonnie feels a little bit left out?
I don't think she's even noticed.
You know, she could head over to the Edna booth and get some free sunglasses from them. I think we might even have a pair or two here in the booth.
Christine really drove that ball. It went short, but it was low and caused some trouble for Kris to hit that drop in. That's a nice drop.
That was a beautiful drop.
Yeah.
So this is Christine Barksdale's another foot fault off of the overhead.
Wow, really watching for that.
Many,
and that was a great call.
Yeah.
Many less experienced referees, they'll miss that. They just won't see it because, you know, it's usually when less experienced referees are looking for kitchen.
Oh, now we have a service fault.
Okay.
Often
she
when
is on it.
Often when less experienced referees are watching for kitchen violations, it's usually in a dinking situation where players might take the ball out of the air, or a volley where they're reaching forward and maybe that toe touches the line. It really says something about the skill as a referee of Marcia Frezzo that she can catch those twice. And there's some skill off the backhand side with a nice drop volley.
Okay, we still have Kris Anderson over on the right, though. With the score being called 0-2, I think the scoreboard might be confused.
Is this in the Marcia Frezzo here?
There you go. It's now 2.
Oh, we're still behind a point. It's 1-2-2. And with that, if the scoreboard
they're going to get there.
was wrong, but the service fault should not have occurred. Because didn't Kris Anderson serve that? And
they're going to get there. They're going to get there.
2-1-1.
See? There we go.
I'm feeling a bit nostalgic in that wrong server call, remembering that in like game 2 finals with Alex Hamner in the mixed doubles nationals a few years ago. And I think we were down 11-10, something like that, and got called for one.
And that was the same game that the bug incident occurred.
That was the 3rd game, yes.
The bug incident?
Yes.
I had a bug fly into my mouth earlier here in the broadcast booth. Was it something similar?
Eyeball.
Into Matthew's eyeball as he was going for the put away.
A big old desert locust came in full bore, and then there was a preceding like 10-minute discussion of whether that was a should be replayed or was it
a fault or
yeah. We didn't get it.
There's a big old backhand winner from Kris Anderson. She and Lisa Naumu a game in 2-1 as Christine Barksdale works away.
Ooh,
the ball catches the inside of the
tapped
baseline.
it in. That's that topspin that Kris has in her forehand. She's hitting it hard, but it does drop in the back of the court.
2-1-1.
High looping serve.
Still at 2-1-1. Off the net for the winner between Lisa's legs.
If you're watching us on Facebook, be sure to say hello. We'll do a quick little check-in. We'd love to know where you're watching from and what you're enjoying about this match.
Wow, what a drop. That was some smart play from Lisa. All the way to one corner and then a no-look behind Bonnie for that sneaky put away.
Yeah, Bonnie obviously got her paddle on it, but it was already behind her by the time she'd done that. That's caused it to go wide.
Can you talk to us a little bit, Alex, about... There we see there's a nice example. That ball stays in. What are some of the different things that players can do to sort of trick their opponents, to deceive them? Like, I get it when when there's a high ball in the forehand, everyone knows that ball is going to be hit hard and hit down. But are there things that you can do, or perhaps our viewers can do, when they play their own pickleball, that they can sort of deceive their opponents to maybe not give away what their plan is, or perhaps even make their opponents think that something's going to happen and instead do something else?
Well, there's actually several things. You know, there's the head fake, right? You look one way, you act like you're going to hit one way based on your head positioning and even your eyes, and then actually hit the ball the other direction. The same for your paddle. You can show your paddle perhaps going cross-court forehand, but then just as you hit the ball, you know, adjust your paddle a little bit, and probably your wrist and arm swing as well, and make it go the other direction. Again, with the body, you can do the same type of idea with your hips, as we see some great pickups from these ladies.
Wow.
Oh, too bad.
Excellent points.
Great exchange.
Shifting offense, defense.
So look at the replay there, powered by Selkirk. We see
ball being out or not.
These women bringing some high-powered action from close to the non-volley line. Okay, so you can change sort of the position of your head. You can look one way and hit the other. You can adjust the position of your hips. You can sell it.
Nice.
There's no disguise there, right?
Right. And I will say this, Matthew was one of the top pickleball players, but top tricky players in our day. So I'm sure he's got a few more tricks up his sleeve he could share.
Nicely done.
Nicely done. One popular one, Matthew, that I recall of yours was looking like you were going to hit it hard when the ball was high at the net, and everyone kind of hunkers down, gets ready for the
scampers back to the back of the court. Yeah.
Right, and then he would just kind of dump it over the net and leave everybody in, well, everybody on the other side of the court in disgust at how they couldn't get to it.
Nice put away. Something that I would add on to what all that Alex said is, and something I work with people when teaching is, like, if you have the same position when you set up for your shot every time, so you have your foundation, the contact point is all the same, and then you have the variation only in the last second of the shot, whereas, you know, sometimes people will line up like they're going to hit a lob, and they change their form, they change their backswing, they change it all, and they telegraph it to their opponents, and you lose all the time that you gain by having that deception, which comes from keeping that head down, just looking the same position, and then the last minute making a different choice. There's some power.
Right, and all these different tactics, they do take, you know, they take practice, because
give it at least a week.
Because you know what you're doing is not maybe your normal stroke or body positioning for the ball that you're going to hit.
Yeah, only work on them if you've got your foundations solid.
Correct.
Well, so far an excellent final here. There are just a lot of back and forth, tight, close games. No one's running away with it. We've got 3-5 after a 12-10 first game.
And after those first 4 or 5 points of the first game, we haven't seen much of a run by anybody. There's been maybe 2 points scored on these side outs, and then it goes back to the other team. Nice.
Wow.
Kris Anderson really doing a good job digging some of those balls that Bonnie Williams was firing at her.
And like you said at the beginning, Alex, of those are the two that you said maybe don't prefer to dink much, and they're going to be hitting hard, and they're going at each other like you predicted.
We see Kris Barksdale kind of shovel that ball. Look at Lisa get those back.
I think Bonnie didn't expect that last one to come back. She got a little caught off guard.
And you know, at this level, you really do. You have to expect every ball to come back, and you may hit a winner, but it's going to come back. You might have to hit 3, 4, 5 winners before you actually hit the winner that ends the point.
I think every year it becomes another ball you need to hit for the winner. It used to be you need at least 2 balls to hit it away. Now it's 3, and now it's 4 and 5, and it's someone described it as an arms race. The offense is getting better, but so is the defense. So you get to see these really fun, long, drawn-out rallies of blocking and resetting. And
the ball catches
yeah,
the
just
line,
catch the line.
barely. Line judges on that one. Ian McDonald checking in from pretty much as far away from here as you can get if you're still in North America, checking in from Nova Scotia, Canada. Small
How
town
awesome.
called, I know, a small town called Arasag.
That's going to be in.
And
Nice.
that's going to be down.
Good solid overhead.
In for the win. Such a fabulous poet.
Tricky time of day. You can see the shadows coming across the court, moving from our left to right. And, you know, players are generally fairly comfortable if they're playing in full sun or if they're playing in full shade. It's at this time of day when you start to see those sharp edges come across. You can see Kris Anderson shielding her face a little bit from the sun there, coming from her right side.
Oh, she might have been wise to let that one go.
Yeah, a little bit tricky now. They got to be careful.
Going to that lob serve a few times.
Maybe you can tell us. Maybe you can tell us, Matthew. You mentioned the lob serve that we saw from Anderson. Why might a player do that? I mean, here you are giving your opponents more time to prepare, more time to set up well to hit the ball. Kris Anderson does it again right there. Why might players use that? We've talked a lot this week about hitting serves harder and reducing the time that players have to react. Why might a player choose to use that lob serve?
It can be really effective, I think, thinking anytime really, but you know, all four of these players can really drive the ball hard and low, and so they've gotten used to that and can respond pretty well with their own drive back. When you're hitting a hard serve, the returner can simply take that power that's been given to them and redirect it where they want it. When you hit that high looping serve, the returner, first of all, has to think about it. They're given more time. It's less of a, I'm just going to react and hit my return. They have the time to kind of think, and that can sometimes throw them off. And then they have to generate their own power. Often you see the returners a little tentative on them. They're not quite as grooved, and that can be either cause an error or cause a short return. And Kris Anderson, using it, who has one of the more powerful forehands, very deliberate in kind of giving her opponents a different look that might screw them up a little bit and cause a short return that then she might come in and make them pay for.
And even if it's not a short return, if I can add my 2 cents here, it's not going to be, it might be deep, but it's probably not going to be a very hard return to deal with. And you actually will see a lot of times the return of serve being something of a lob as well.
Yeah.
Kind of pay it back.
Yep.
So.
All right, well, as these players take a quick timeout, we're going to go to a short break ourselves. We're going to be back in just a moment with the completion of game number 2 here in the Women's Senior Pro Gold Medal match.
Match point, it's all up to me. Nothing can get in my way. And when they ask, what are you gonna do next? I'll say, I'm going.
We're going to Margaritaville!
You can go to Margaritaville too. Visit MargaritavilleResorts.com.
We're back here live at Nationals. Mark Renneson alongside Matthew Blom and Alex Hamner. You're watching a tough-fought match out there as you see Lisa
nice
Naumu
flick
a lob over Bonnie Williams.
Oh,
and Williams gets it back, but as Christine Barksdale, her partner, tries to help out in the middle of the court, that opens up the right side, Alex. And with that little flick there, that's sort of a 1-2 punch. That deep lob to the corner and a short little roller to the other side.
Well, she used such a good angle on it, too. She didn't just hit it short. She hit it
Nice
so it would
blast.
bounce and continue off the court, making it extra hard.
with topspin on it, yeah.
So Weaver is watching for someone and says, I wish I could see what level it is. There's another scoreboard that you can't quite see most of the time. It's just off to the right beside one of the lines judges. It says that it's Women's Senior Gold 50+. And if you ever have questions about what it is you're watching or where we are on the draw, head over to pickleballtournaments.com. You can see all the details there, as well as going to usapickleball.nationals.com, and you can get all the details. But this is a gold medal match in the 50+ pro category.
That was quite a drop. Beautiful rolling topspin forehand.
Heavy topspin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to learn that one overnight.
Good reflexes, good strategies. The digging of these balls is amazing.
Yeah.
Real Bonnie Williams jumps in on that one. You see Christine Barksdale saying to Kris Anderson, sorry, hey, made it tough hitting off the top of the net there. But they're going to be happy to take that rally. And right now we've got Barksdale Williams, 7-8-2.
Fighting to stay alive in this game too. Down 1-0.
Ooh.
That's helpful.
Yes, it is. Gotta love that in an opponent when they just give you the point.
All right, quick timeout from the players, quick timeout from us. We're going to be back in a moment. More live at Nationals.
Margaritaville. It's not just a state of mind. Now it's a place to live. Introducing Latitude Margaritaville. New homes in 55 and better communities where you can live the Margaritaville lifestyle every day. Find your new home at latitudemargaritaville.com.
"15 seconds. Both teams have one timeout remaining for this game. Line judges, are you ready? Thank you.
She's got a few definite weaknesses in her game.
Mark Renison here live at Nationals alongside Matthew Blom and Alex Hamner. You're being treated to a very entertaining gold medal match here in this Women's Senior Pro Division.
There's that lob return.
Lisa Naumu and Kris Anderson. They're up a game and tied here at 8-8 in game number 2. This is the best 2 out of 3 match. The winners will take the gold medal and $5,000, and the losers will have to settle for silver and $3,000.
Which they split, correct, Mark?
Well, I don't know what kind of financial arrangement these teams have made. It was actually, no, in all honesty, I did ask, there was someone here earlier, I can't remember who earlier this week. We've had so many terrific guests, but one of them was, actually it was Irina Terashenko. We were talking, and I asked her, you know, has she ever heard of a team that make some sort of separate arrangement internally, you know, maybe a 60-40 split or a 70-30, depending on, well, a whole bunch of factors.
Look at this.
Wow. That looked wide.
Can't believe that ball.
Yeah,
oh, it was called out.
Yep.
Yeah, just wide.
Great point.
Irina told me that in most cases, I mean, she has heard examples of that where people have said, hey, if you come and play this tournament with me, I'll cover your costs or I'll give you some money or whatever. But for most case, when we're talking about the top players in the sport, at least her read on it, or at least what she shared with us, was that no, it's typically a 50-50 split.
That sure seems right to me. You're doing it together.
I've never heard of a team not splitting it evenly.
I know, but here's what I can imagine. So let's say, Alex, you and I, we enter a tournament together, and you know, obviously you're going to be the one who's carrying me, and so we go out and play, and you know, maybe it's fair that you get 60% of the cash and I only get 40. My counter argument is that because they're going to be picking on me so much, I'm actually going to have more work to do, so maybe I should get the 60%.
Well, and that's exactly our point, I believe, is that it's a team, and you know, you might hit, as we see, perhaps a ref error with the score. Yes. Christine Barksdale serving at 8-9-2.
Whoa.
Ooh, whoa.
Kind of quick serving her.
Whoa.
Receiving team was originally in the wrong position.
I know, but you got to think that after a referee error like that, there'd be a little bit of leeway. Anyway, here we go.
What a lob.
That's that lob that Matthew And Alex, you talked about earlier in the day that could be a weapon that...
Especially with the sun in the faces of Kris Anderson and Lisa Naumu. It makes it a little more difficult. 9-9-2.
Matt, you inspired me, so you know what? We'll call it a 50-50 split on that one. 9-9. That ball is called just out by the line judge.
I'd give you 70-30 on that one.
Appreciate it.
Tight as nails here. 9-9 in game 2 after a 10-12 first game.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Another incorrect receiver, which was quickly corrected.
Wow.
Nice.
Good cover by Christine. I thought it was Bayer.
Oh, the big swinging backhand for the point. Well,
I think we heard a term for that earlier. With, that was a lobette.
Lobette.
I think she mishit that attempted lob, which is common on lobs because you take your eye off at the last second. Wow.
I'd say Christine Barksdale is really feeling confident on her backhand overheads. Oh.
Wow. Good recovery. And we have a potential, we have our first match point.
First championship point here. Kris Anderson about to deliver the serve to Christine Barksdale. She snaps it in there, yeah. Look at that. Pretty aggressive from Naumu and Anderson here with championship point. Bonnie Williams has something to say about that.
Receive the side out.
Big at this point because you get 1 point and now you got to win by 2.
Barksdale says, good work, partner. Let's keep it up here. I'll play my little drop.
Ooh,
but a
good
little bit
return
too little.
from Kris Anderson.
It was tough. Well, it was tough because they were stacking.
Yep.
Barksdale had quite a way to range to her left, and to be so precise on those drops, if you're moving as you hit it, becomes a lot more difficult, and Anderson made her move for sure.
Oh, nice poach by Bonnie. She saw the quality of Christine's dink and scooted over and did something I call micro poaching.
Micro poaching?
Micro poaching.
Oh, I like it.
Get ready.
10-10-2. Nothing micro about this match here in this gold medal final of the women's senior pro event. There's that sort of inverted forehand from Barksdale we talked about.
Inverted is a good word for it.
Micro. Oh, that was out by a few microns, that one. A little bit too far to the left. And right now, Kris Anderson going to take over serving.
Okay, they got to 10 though, so they forced them to win by 2. High marking serve.
See Kris Anderson hug in the middle.
Ooh.
Oh!
Normally a put away from Bonnie on that kind of shot, but Kris was ready with her two-hander to just tee off on it back.
It's really something that we're seeing. We'll stay with this even though this is a quick timeout. It's really something that we're seeing, Alex, at the pro level and also at the senior pro level, is how much these players are not just defending against fastballs, but actually using that speed and counter-attacking themselves.
Well, it is, and what's important is that you don't just rip the ball right back to the opponent's paddle or into their wheelhouse somewhere. You know, you really got to try to move it around, get it to their feet, use the angles, or maybe just go one partner to the other or the left side of a person and then the right side. You know, try not to go back to the same spot over and over.
Spoken like a true champion.
Yeah, no, if I'd only do it.
Yeah. Well, 100% power at the person's paddle is not as good as even 75% angled away from them.
Correct.
It's not as satisfying, though. Match championship point.
Number 2, can they do it on this one?
Nice drop.
Naumu so quickly to the line. She's able to get that ball. Pretty good dink, but she's able to get there. 12-10, 12-10. This is what you're looking for when you're talking about a gold medal championship match. These women really provided a treat to the fans here at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden as well as on Facebook. For Alex Hamner and Matthew Blum, I'm Mark Renison. See you soon live at Nationals.